like, all of the characters suffered miserably, and I still feel bad about that. Like, I'm like, this is brutal. Like, we're just killing off characters, and I do feel bad. And let me just say why I had to kill off Mary Lou if I still wanted that plot point with Madeline at the end for the whole message that ties everything together. Let's go through, like, how the characters died. And there was actually a reason that this all happened that shows back to the connection of why the place was so horrible. Because there were other characters that I didn't kill off, but I, like, eliminated them in some way. Because, you know, there was the whole gang of the friend groups, and then there was the gang at the school that was torturing them and bullying them and killing them. But there were two other characters that were main characters. So there was Rebecca, who was in the popular group, and I ended up cutting her out of the series, like, near, I don't know what episode, but like halfway through the series, because she ended up getting pregnant and leaving the school. And basically I had several characters, and I was like, these are the main characters that I need to work off of each other, and we gotta get rid of some of the other characters. But I didn't want to kill them off, because I was like, there's gonna be already enough of that. So Rebecca basically just, like, left the series after that point, and it's implied that, like, she did not get any help from Michael, because you can see he still continues attending school, and Rebecca's gone, and it's like implied that she either, like, was raising the kid or gave the kid up, and, like, we don't see from her again, and she doesn't go back to connect with the friend group. And then throughout the series, the whole time that at Painful High, Flora, she's kind of like the annoying sidekick one, you know. She has tape over her mouth the whole time, so she can't talk other than going like she does the whole time. Like, she doesn't talk. And basically that was also done so I could have more freedom, because it was like she couldn't say much, so I didn't have to worry about what she did too much. She was just kind of there, because I needed to focus it more on other characters. And I was like, if there are less characters that can talk and maybe have less importance because they're kind of out of the picture, then it's easier to show the importance of the other characters and what happens to them. But it still shows that they're there and they still have struggles, if it makes sense. It's kind of confusing, but that's just kind of how I viewed it. So the killing off of characters, because it was very violent, was when the gang brutally murdered Ember and Junie, who were the nice girls that Madeline found, the few nice pets in the school that weren't from Madeline's group that she brought in. So they were, like, friends, and they were really close, and they were girlfriends, so they ended up being killed off. Then later, Ash ended up killing herself. She just couldn't handle what was going on. And I know throughout the whole series, Ash was depicted as being just evil and crazy, but really she wasn't, because she was really suffering. Like, her and Julia were, like, going at it with each other, but the whole thing, it was implied. It was never exactly said, but I mean, maybe it was, but it was never. I think the queer thing we need to say is that Ash was gay or lesbian, and she loved Julia. Julia was the one that she liked, and Julia is actually bisexual, and it's never really said, but I know that or give you information that you maybe don't know, but let me tell you that was canon, is that Julia liked her too, but they just couldn't be together. And despite everything that they did to hurt each other, it's because they were stuck in this horrible place and it couldn't happen. So that's why they were so brutal with each other, because they were in love, but it just couldn't happen. So just take that with what you will. Then later, Mary Lou gets brutally shot and dead by the gang, and it's horrible. And that's finally the thing that causes, like, the straw to break the camel's back. It's like, nope, we're done with this. And Paige and Julia make a sacrifice to the school, and they say that they will let all of their friends go and be safe if Paige and Julia kill themselves to sacrifice for their friends, which is crazy. But it's so sad. It's like, I love the twins too, and I think it was implied that Julia was very miserable at times, even before they got sent to Painful High, because, you know, when she was cutting and self-harming and throwing up and all that. But it was a time, and basically it was so sad that, like, all the characters were being killed off. So basically Julia and Paige ended up killing themselves for their friends, and then nothing was the same after that. And then Alec, who was also in the game but ended up being nice and became Paige's boyfriend, later fiance, because he was like, I can't let you die until I ask you, like, to marry me 2 minutes before you die. But it was later said, it was never shown, but that he ended up killing himself sometime shortly after Julia and Paige died, because he just could not cope with the loss. So he ended up dead. And then the rest of the group, so Flora, Tavy, Queenie, Sierra, and then whoever else, I think maybe that's all of them, ended up betraying Madeline because they were like, after everything we've just been through, we can't handle this anymore, and they ended up just backstabbing. And it's like, you thought you had these strong group of characters who would be there for each other after this trauma. Nope, that was kind of the whole thing in this series. It's like, you get backstabbed at every corner, and it's so sad. Like, this series, like, do not get attached to any of the characters because, like, they will all be dead or betray. So yeah, that's when Madeline was the only saving character, found out her mom died in a car accident, and Kendall, the only other saving character, Paige and Julia's mom, took her in and basically said that they're gonna help each other now as a family and get through this. Because it's obviously the mom is suffering a lot because, like, she just lost her 2 daughters, and in the beginning of the series you can see that she did not want Paige reconnecting with Mary Lou, but then she didn't realize just how important their friendship was, and she does learn that by the end. But they also take in Julia's cricket and maid, like, servant into the family, and they get along. But then guess who else comes back to join the family? Paige and Julia's dad, who basically, they are actually the ones that started this whole mess. Because if you don't know the backstory to Painful High, Julia and Paige are sisters, twin sisters, but their parents got divorced, and, like, it was this crazy thing that happened. Like, they hated each other. And basically the whole way that they divorce is basically it's illegal for them to be with the other parent, which is why they switched lives. And then when they found out that lives were switched, well, by the school, not their parents, they got sent to Painful High. And basically Paige was with their mom and Julia was with their dad, and Julia is rich and Paige is, like, kind of average and poor. But, like, the parents, so the dad comes in and is basically like, honey, I'm so sorry, I love you, let's get back together. And Kendall's like, okay. Like, what? No, you don't do that. No. Like, y'all are unhinged. Like, I don't know what it is, why I have a habit of getting, like, divorced parents back together in my series, because it doesn't work like that. Like, you guys are divorced for a reason. It's so toxic. And, like, they are the reason that the girls got put through hell. They're the reason why everyone is dead. Like, because they put their twins through this, mostly the dad. I mean, I'm sure we don't know the whole story. Even I don't know the whole story of who caused what, but to me, it was more the dad. Even though that, like, basically from what's shown, I'd say it's all their dad's fault. Because in the episode when Paige is pretending to be Julia and visiting her dad, who she hasn't seen, like, all her life, and living as her, the dad is just so casually talking badly to Paige about thinking she's Julia, talking badly about Paige and their mother. And it's so casual too, so it's basically implied that, like, this is something that happens often. And he's, like, insulting Paige, doesn't realize that she is Paige. And it's just so casual, basically saying, oh, this is all your mother's fault, you're not supposed to be associated with your sister. It's so weird, it's so toxic. And then at the end, I guess after everything that happened, they finally realize, like, oh, both of our girls are dead. But, like, they just get back together, and the dad's like, I'm so sorry. And it's like, you legally caused this whole mess. Like, it's so toxic. Like, you guys are divorced. Like, because, like, to me, obviously this is not the case for everyone, because there are some crazy circumstances, but, like, when someone just, like, breaks up, like, most of the time it means it's over, but there is the potential of getting back together. But, like, when you get divorced, you go through the legal process to throw away and, like, get rid of the whole life that you built and promised to build with that person. Like, it is over. Like, once you're divorced, like, it's over. Like, maybe in very few circumstances people get back together after getting divorced, but, like, usually when after you divorce, it is over. But nope, they just got back together like it was nothing. Like, wow, I still can't believe that. I'm still mad at myself for that. And this is not the first time that this has happened in one of my series. I was rewatching Runaway from Home the other day. It's not really that great, it's old. But I was rewatching it, and, like, the whole series is caused by kids' parents fighting. And, like, they were at each other's throats. Like, they were constantly screaming and hating each other, and they were the whole reason the kid ended up running away. And they were the whole reason that Sapphire ended up, like, in that whole prison thing, because of what Mark did and what the counselor did. And, like, the whole thing was caused by them. And, like, the whole series, like, it was so clear that, like, they hated each other. They, like, hate each other. They screamed at each other. And then in the end, they're like, oh, we realized that we loved each other because my husband was, like, sleepwalking and said that he still loved me. So then we still realized that, like, this is totally a safe environment to bring your kid back into. Like, Child Protective Services, hello. But they were like, oh, we're going to therapy, so it's all okay now. Like, no, like, you guys were unhinged. You guys were at each other's throats. You guys were, like, a step away from murdering each other. You do not get back together. But they did. I was like, this is so toxic. Oh my god. Yeah, that's basically another thing. Anyway, the whole point of how, if I needed to have this plot point ending with Madeline, I had to kill off Mary Lou. And why was that? Because if Mary Lou survived after Paige and Julia died, like, they were close, well, like, mostly with Paige, like, they were best friends since they were in matching cribs, is what Paige says. Like, Mary Lou's kind soul, she would not betray Madeline. Like, she would not. Like, she would make, like, a promise to Paige to, like, keep the friends happy, and, like, she would owe her that promise. Like, honestly, if, like, Paige actually died and Mary Lou hadn't died before then, like, Mary Lou, she probably would have killed herself. Like, honestly, that would have been the plot point. Because, like, there is no way that Mary Lou would have survived after Paige and Julia died and let the friend group split apart and let them, like, completely betray Madeline. Like, that wouldn't have happened. So in order for that to happen, because, like, Mary Lou is just such a kind soul, and, like, she would have done anything for Paige. Like, she took the bullet for Paige. Like, it was originally Paige that they were trying to kill, but then Mary Lou ended up getting shot instead. But, like, if it was in the series, Mary Lou had to have died for the ending for Madeline, otherwise it wouldn't have happened. So that is why Painful High's ending is so tragic and trash, and I hate it, but also at the same time, I'm kind of proud of the series, because I was like, I made this whole toxic series. Wow, that's crazy. Like, it was wild, and honestly, I feel like it's different than a lot of what you see on LPS too. It's so sad, and still it's like, why did I have to kill off all the characters? Why did I make them so miserable? But it's like, it's a different type of content, a different turn from my channel, so I think that's why I ended up doing it, and I still hate myself for it. And in new videos, like, if you ever see Mary Lou in other films, like, she'll be alive. Like, it'll be in a different world where she is alive. But yeah, it's just, it was crazy. So yeah, that is kind of my explanation on Painful High and comparisons to the old series and facts about it and just why. But yeah, it was crazy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little crazy video of just talking about it. So thank you for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment if you can, and we'll see you later. Bye.